I'm a snake.
I don't know what. I'm a snake.
I'm a little snake. Oh, you got. Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Around the Water Cooler with Any DNR. It's me, Devin, and
Alexa. Hello.
today we are going to be talking about our trip, or our non-ordinary
Our not so ordinary trip
to Ord.
to Ord, Nebraska. Get it?
Yes.
It was a play on Ord.
Ord.
Ordinary.
Or Ord. Okay, so we're just kind of gonna break down, what we did during our days there. But first, I think we need to give a shout out to the guys that are in the Ord field office that were super nice, super knowledgeable about everything that they showed us.
Very helpful and patient with our questions too.
Yeah, and very patient with the fact that I was suffering the entire time.
Devin had really bad allergies.
I literally could not stop. My nose was on one. It would just not stop. It was running and I sounded really bad. I've listened to the videos that I took and it's so bad. I was they probably today during our phone call when we called him to kind of, make sure that our notes were right about what we saw and what we did. But when I talked to them, in the back of my head, I was like, do they even recognize my voice?
Because you're not all amazing.
I don't know.
You were basically just a zombie.
I could not tell you what we saw for sure. I had to go back to my photos because I couldn't think of anything to ask. I couldn't think of any questions. I was just there.
It's good to know that Devin did not drive either. in this mental night state.
I drove myself, and even then I was what was it? I had to use my phone to navigate Ord, Nebraska. And you would think after driving the same route to and from the Ord field office into the hotel, you'd remember. I literally could not remember how to get anywhere. It was bad.
That's what made the trip not so ordinary.
I mean, no, but even besides that, it was still really fun to go, even though I was suffering.
It was beautiful out there.
It was insane. I guess I've never really traveled that far out and explored that part of Nebraska, but...
You don't feel like you're in Nebraska.
Not at all.
Especially Omaha and Lincoln. It's just so unique. The landscape, it was so beautiful outside. There's not a cloud in the sky, so the green with the blue contrast, it was pretty good weather. And then you see these amazing water bodies and structures, and you're like, oh my gosh. It was awesome.
Yeah, and just going up to those structures.
The dams.
The dams that we went to, the diversion dams, the earth dams, you don't usually get out of your car and walk up to those things.
I didn't realize it. You know that a dam's big, but being on the other side of that, you're I don't know, I just felt so small. So shout out to the Ord field office guys that we met, Pat, Tom, Stacy, and Jeremy. And while we were out there, we also got to meet Amos, who's with the irrigation district out there. And
they were so
they were so excited.
Yeah,
to share their knowledge.
Yeah, I don't know. They were just things that lived in the back of their heads and that they were just able to rattle off about, the stuff inside of the gauge houses, that part that would record the times, the discharge. And he was just able to give us so much information about the technology, and he was excited about it. He wasn't just, okay, this is a gauge house, this is what's in here.
So if you're ever at Ord, Nebraska, you should definitely stop by the field office that's out there and talk to these guys. They are so much fun.
So it was a good experience, all in all.
Yeah, so we're going to share our experience with you via podcast.
And guess what? We have video and pictures, so be on the lookout for those. They're really cool. They're really pretty. The videos kind of break down some stream gauging. They break down...
Yeah, and then we have drone footage too.
We have a crap ton of drone footage.
Oh my gosh, it was so cool.
Jeremy, he also loves getting drone footage for us, so if you ever need anything from Ord, Nebraska, Jeremy will send you a flash drive. And I know that because he sent me a flash drive in the mail. Thank you so much, Jeremy.
Yeah, the videos are super cool just to watch him set up everything and then to be able to look at the screen, so many feet above the water. Oh my gosh, it was awesome.
It was super cool. And just seeing like the process of them getting set up, actually like being there while they're flying it is so strange because you just see this tiny robot above you. And sometimes there are birds there that don't like the drone. And that's kind
Yeah,
of
there
fun.
was some kind of sparrow or wren that were,
Yeah.
it was a cluster, maybe 30 to 50 birds that were just attacking the drone because they did not like it. I don't know if it was a noise or we were by like this, but it was
Lori
crazy.
mouthed the word swallow. Who knows at this point? I don't know. I'll post a video of it and you tell me what kind of bird it is. I'm
Fun
curious.
facts.
Fun fact.
What is this bird?
So we're gonna break down what we did, and we'll start with, I think day one is a good place to start.
Oh, I thought we started.
Sure. That's fine.
I'm kidding.
So the first thing that we saw on day one was the Hardenbrook Diversion Dam on the North Loop River. That was really cool.
It was actually really pretty. We got to walk across the dam, and we got to see like the auxiliary spillway. There was a tree there that had a mark on it that was like 4 feet up. That was from an ice jam from the 2019 flood.
Yeah, and you could see it from far away too. Like we were super close to the dam, and the tree is like all the way back there, and you can see those marks still even from where we were. So that was pretty strange to see. I couldn't even imagine like water being over that far away. I don't know. It was weird.
Yeah, that would be insane. You could also see some huge fish in the water.
People were fishing down there, like downstream. Don't fish off the dam. You will have a really bad time, and that sounds dangerous. Like, just don't do that. But, like, downstream a little bit, they had some kids doing some net fishing, and they had a pole going. Like, they were just having a really good time.
Yeah, there was, like, a little beached area that you could go to, kind of. It was, like, on the sand at a safe distance, and it was pretty cool to see. I mean, it would be a great place to get fish.
That and, you can see the canal that diverts from the dam, which is also really cool. I guess I never knew what a diversion dam was or what the purpose was of those. From what I've gathered, it's just so that you can carry water from one place to another and help with irrigation.
Yeah, so it's just to divert the water from one place to another, essentially, and most of the time it is going to irrigation. So, or like the irrigation district that is then divided up and sent to farmers, or maybe it goes to a farmer's land. I don't know. It kind of depends. It was pretty cool to see.
It was very cool to see. And like I said, like I had never been up to a structure that close because A, they scare me, and B, why would I go up to it? Because it seems official and you shouldn't. Another thing about diversion dams, though, is that they are super dangerous. If you are going to be near one, if at all, I mean, you really shouldn't be going up to one. And I think that there are signs posted on a lot of them saying stay
No
off.
trespassing.
Right. But if you're going to be near one or fishing or doing whatever you're going to be doing near one, make sure you go with somebody and make sure you're knowledgeable about the area for any like potential hazards.
There are people that die on diversion dam or by like any dams just for negligence, for not being aware. I mean, you definitely need to be safe.
The water looks fun. I know. And it was really hot when we were by them.
But you're gonna have a bad time.
You might get sucked under and you might die because, the water in some of these structures kind of create circular flow of water, and for example, like kind of backwashes up and it creates this like circular motion of water and it sucks you under and then it spits you back up, but because you're caught in that cycle you get stuck and you can actually
it's kind of like I'm thinking like a tide of like the ocean or undercurrent. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Like you can just be stuck in this circular motion of water and you'll drown.
Yeah, it's like a reverse roller motion. So it's a really horrible way to die. It's not fun. Definitely don't put yourself in that situation because chances are, if you're alone especially, you will not make it out of that.
And don't do that to your friends and family.
Yeah, be smart. Research your water. Water's fun, but only if you're being safe.
You gotta respect it.
Respect water and you can enjoy it.
So going to a lighter note, also on the first day after we left the Hardenbrook Diversion Dam, we went and saw some flumes. Amos took us on this tour. Oh my gosh, these things were
super fun.
Amazing. They were so cool.
I am not gonna lie, that was my favorite part. Like the danger. Like we went up there and okay, first of all, I had no idea what a flume was. And a flume, if you don't know, is just kind of an extension of a canal that is propped up above the ground somehow. So it could be really high up or it could just be kind of sitting on the ground, depending on what kind of elevation you need it to be at. But it just carries the canal further for irrigation purposes.
The first one we went to was what you think, like 4 stories tall. Like it was so high up.
It was 80 feet. And when you first walk up there, like, you have no idea. Like, Amos was like, oh, we're gonna go see a flume. And I said, okay, awesome. And we get there, and all 4 of us are walking on this rickety structure. And I was like, okay, this is a little sketchy. There's nothing to hold on to. There's, if we fall, like, I'll probably get a little wet.
It's good to note that these flumes were made in, like, the 1930s. So they're super old, too.
Like, when I tell you these boards were, like,
Rotting.
crackers crunching under my feet, they were so, like, I don't know. I was a little concerned.
Amos said that they don't replace so there's wooden boards that are on top of these flumes so that they can walk out and check to see if it's leaking, to do any kind of maintenance repairs. But these wooden boards, they don't replace them frequently because they use it as a deterrent for people to walk on it. So it is very sketchy.
That would have been great to know before I got on them. But, so yeah, we're just, like, walking down this old, rotting wood. It's not really rotting. It's just, like, super dry, old wood. We're just walking on it, and as we get down this flume, he's like, hey, if you guys want to turn around, it's okay, but there's going to be, like, an 80-foot drop here soon. And I was like, well, I'm already this far down. I kind of want to see this thing through, see what it looks like up there. It seems cool.
It was so beautiful. And just to note that was built in the 30s and it still is doing
Thriving.
the purpose. Yeah, it's still thriving. It's, oh my gosh, the technology is just amazing,
It turns out that the older a piece of technology is, it kind of lasts. Oh, like, we'll talk about those reporting systems and those gauge houses a little bit later, but those things are from the 1930s as well, and they are still perfectly functional.
Yeah, it was awesome to see. We did post a video of the flume that we're talking about.
Check it out on Instagram.
Yeah, it's, oh my gosh, just gorgeous. And I think Amos said that they have 17 of them in their irrigation district that they, continuously do maintenance on and, that still divert water.
And it's fun to know also that we were on one that they had not yet done maintenance on. So, there was a moment I was like, okay, don't fall. If you fall, you will die.
You're gonna have a bad time.
You probably will stop having any kind of time because you'll be dead. But, I mean, no, the guys were really nice, and they made sure that, like, we were good and, gave us warnings ahead of time. It was definitely a sight to see. I mean, there are people that have been working for the department for such a long time, and I don't think that they have seen flumes in person. So, it was a really unique and cool opportunity. So, thank you
Shout
guys.
out to Amos.
And Pat.
Yeah, and Pat was, like, visibly seeing me sweat. He was like,
are you good?
He was like, are you chill? And I'm like, super. And that concludes the day 1 of the trip. So the next day we woke up pretty early. We met the field office guys at 7 in the morning, so we wanted to beat the heat. And we went to the Virginia Smith Earthen Dam that's in Burwell. It's on the backside of the Calamus Reservoir.
And right next to the Calamus State Fish Hatchery. So if you want to see a couple cool things, or a few cool things, I guess, like the dam, the reservoir, and the fish hatchery are all up there. So that was also very cool to see. I was not expecting the view from on top of the dam.
You should go check it out.
Was nuts because I felt like I was like 100 feet in the air. Like the photos that I took looked like they came from a drone just because of how high it was.
Well, and the Calamus Reservoir is like one of the best reservoirs in the state, I think. It's just so beautiful. It has like sandy beaches too, kind of like Lake McConaughey. So
sandy beaches and clear though, which is something that's so rare.
It's so different than water bodies in Omaha and Lincoln.
Yeah, because when you see those, it's like mud and.
We wanted to jump in the water.
There were multiple times I was like, dang, I don't know how these guys go all day wearing jeans and boots. I would be, and they told me, I told them that I was like, I really want to jump in this water right now. And I think it was Jeremy who was like, yeah, sometimes I just put on my swim trunks and my flip flops and I go do my my measurements. And I'm like, I want your job, please. Like, especially in July, like, oh my gosh, being out there in the middle of nowhere.
I know. I think I asked them. I was like, do you just like bring your lunch and just like sit out here? They were like, yeah.
Yeah. It's like, let me go back to the office and
I'm gonna go back to cubicle land.
Hey, we have a patio. We can we'll get like a cooler, fill it with ice, and
I'll
we'll
just have a
sit
bucket
next to
of
it.
water and just like pour it into another bucket.
I
It'll be
love
like
that.
a waterfall.
Oh my gosh, I love that. We should do that. You know what? Shelly has a waterfall on her desk that we can steal, and we'll just put it on the patio.
We'll call the field office guys and have them come out and be like, this is what we have. They're like,
Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that the field office guys are not going to be impressed with that. But at least they're nice enough to take us out to those different locations so we can experience it, though not as nicely as they do sometimes with their swim trunks and their coolers and their flip-flops. And so after we done with the Virginia Smith Dam over by the Calonis Reservoir, we went to the North Loop River Dam. That one was pretty cool. We got some really cool photos, and you can see that on Instagram as well. I think that's included in our promo.
no ordinary trip.
Yeah, so if you want to see that picture, we might be posting more soon here. So, and then after that, we went to the Middle Loop River Diversion Dam in Sargent, Nebraska. That one was really cool. It had a natural spillway in the center, and then 2 canals leading opposite directions. So that one was like...
was very unique. So imagine like 2 diversion dams,
Right.
like the metal structures, but
In the
on
middle.
opposite sides of the river, and in the middle it was like rocks. It
yeah.
was like a little, almost like a little island.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was... Lori's making a face at us right now. Because
It sounds cool.
yeah, 2 diversion dams, and then when I was looking on maps of this, these 2 dams, I guess, it said Canal 1, Canal 2, and I was like, oh, I guess that makes sense because they're not really connected in that kind of way. So it was really cool to see that and see like a natural spillway. Like the one that we went to on day 1 was like kind of a paved concrete.
Almost like a big bike path, and this was just
Yeah.
completely natural with huge rocks and like native plants and sand and like some logs left over, I think, from the flood.
Yeah. Real quick, by the way,
Snakes.
on the North Loop River Dam that we went to, we were in the wild that day. Like, we were fully immersed in nature because I was walking down this...
Devin almost got attacked by a snake.
And my ankles were exposed, so you know what? I probably would have died. But I was walking up to this dam, and I see, like, what was... it looked like a snake. And then quickly I realized it was...
A
Did I say
snake. It looked like a snake. And then I realized it was a snake.
No, I thought it was a stick. I thought it was a stick. It
Jeremy
was not
said
a
that
stick.
it was sunbathing. It was just like laying on the sidewalk.
It was like living its best life, and then I came and like totally wrecked its day.
Devin saw the snake, and then we proceeded to walk the other way.
Turns out it wasn't a rattlesnake like I thought it was because it was making noise. It was just a bullhead snake, which is fine. Live your best life, little guy, and leave me alone. Still don't want to look at you. I don't know what you've eaten today. You're probably out there eating field mice. I don't want to be around you. Like, you're a little predator. Stay away. So that was scary. I might also post a video sometime of me running away from the snake.
Yes.
Like, comment and let us know if you want to see a video of me running away from the snake.
Yes, we want to see that.
It was funny. It was Jeremy. Jeremy was our savior, so thanks, Jeremy. Middle Loop River Diversion Dam, that was also very cool. I mean, all the structures that they took us to were all different in some sort of way, so it's kind of strange to think about, like, they know so much about these individual places. I mean, probably because they go there a lot to do their dam inspections and stuff, but, like, they're just so knowledgeable about all of it. It's not just, like, run of the mill, like, this is the same dam as this one, and...
I just think it's really interesting to think, like, you know, being born and raised in Omaha, Nebraska, and then, you know, traveling throughout Nebraska for work or, you know, for school, and just seeing how different the areas can be, and then the different structures, the different technology. Like, it's just so...
Stuff you don't even think about. Like, you don't even know it exists unless, like, I mean, I guess it's relevant to, like, what you do for work and whatever, but, like, you could be a resident here your whole life and not know what any of these things are.
We would highly suggest that you go out to Ord and look at some of this stuff.
They have a lot. I mean, like, just that surrounding area, like, they
It was
have
beautiful.
so much. And it's all within a reasonable distance, too. Like, you can drive to it, and like, that's what we did. We just...
Yeah, you can drive there in a day, check out some stuff, and then drive back, honestly. It could be like a fun little weekend trip for you, like
Yeah.
on a Saturday or Sunday.
It's only
Go
2.5
have a
hours.
picnic outside.
Yeah, it's only 2.5 hours from Lincoln, so get out there and have a good
Do
time.
it.
Yeah.
Just
do
do it. Don't let your dreams be dreams.
Speaking about, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but speaking about, like, how different it is, just seeing, like, kind of an arid plant.
We saw like cactuses.
We wanted to steal a cactus.
We did not, but we wanted to.
We wanted to. We were really excited. Well, I don't know. I have never seen a natural cactus in Nebraska, and I don't think a lot of people know that cacti grow here. They do. It's nuts.
They're so cute.
They're so tiny. So be careful. I was wearing tennis shoes, and I was like looking down at
Don't go flip flop.
Definitely don't. I might bring hiking boots the next time we go out because I honestly, after the snake incident and the cacti everywhere, very cool. Lots of cool wildflowers.
The wildflowers there's so many different colors. I had no idea how many wildflowers we had.
Yeah, pretty sure in Ord we stumbled upon our state flower just out there growing.
Goldenrod.
Goldenrod.
It's pretty.
It is really pretty. So if you just like nature in general, go out and explore. I mean, they have a chalk mine. We didn't get to stop because by the end of day 2 we were
Dead.
pretty much dead. But I had no idea we had any kind of touristy thing like that. Just living in Ord, Nebraska.
You just check it out.
Do it.
So after the Middle Loop River Diversion Dam, we stopped at Scotia Canal and we got to see Jeremy and Stacy do some stream gauge measurements on the canal. They did it like an old school way, which we think that they used a pygmy meter. It was like a little metal weight that was in the water to hold down the velocity meter. But this velocity meter was like in a circular metal.
Looks like a bunch of like tiny metal cones that spin really fast when they're in the water.
And depending on the size of the canal, you can change the settings. But Stacy was counting the revelations of this meter, and that's how you calculate how fast the water is going at certain points of this canal. So if you know the width and the depth and you know how fast the water is going, you can calculate the discharge. And it was awesome. Like, it was such an old school way of doing it. I was counting the revelation.
We had a revelation.
We had a revelation that I have been saying revelation instead of revolution.
So if you listen to that and you're like, what is she saying? She means revolution. It's okay.
Insert revolution here. I think per like minute or something like that, there's a certain amount of time and you have to count how many times this spinner spins, and then that you can in turn calculate how fast the water is going. He had like a little like earmuff almost too to like count it. I don't know, it was crazy. We have pictures of it. We'll probably post it too. Actually,
it's on Instagram.
Oh, we did post it. Yeah, it's on Instagram. Go check it out. Oh my gosh.
All of these things are on Instagram and all over our social media. So if you're curious, just go look us up.
Yeah, and if it's not a pygmy meter, let us know.
Oopsies.
We think it's a pygmy meter.
I will. I'm just going to mention at this part of the trip, I literally was so tired and so, like, my allergies were just, I was out of it. Spiritually, I was there. Mentally, I was kind of checked out at that point.
And then I think that kind of sums up our trip. It was amazing. We learned so much.
In 2 days. It's nuts, because we weren't even there for a full, like, I mean, I think we were there for a full day in total, but when we got there, half the day was spent, you were in a meeting, and I kind of chilled at the hotel because I had to work off some of the motion sickness I had acquired. That sounds like I threw up. I didn't. I went and laid down.
Or did you?
I don't know. I didn't. It's
the world will never know.
When I went to lunch, you know what I had? I had a grilled cheese because I was scared that I couldn't eat anything. Not that I couldn't, but just that it would make me feel even worse, so. Yeah, that was not fun, but the rest of the time was a lot of fun, and we were only there for maybe a total of like a full day. We saw so much.
It was really beautiful. Once again, if you're looking for something to do during the week or the weekend, we highly suggest going out there, checking out some of these dams, canals. Definitely stop by the field office, and I'm sure that any of the guys would be willing to talk to you or take you out too.
Exactly. Yeah, they are just like the best people ever. Beyond our trip, we kind of had another small interview with one of the field office guys, Pat. Thanks for talking to us this morning, Pat. And he kind of just broke down what a typical day in Ord looked like, or not a typical day, but kind of just broke down what they do on a regular basis and gave us an idea of
in case you were curious of what they do, or you're looking for a job. We have different field offices throughout the state.
Hit up Pat. Just kidding, don't hit up Pat. Maybe you can apply on the state job website, but We definitely do have some SOS intern opportunities depending on their busy season right now in the summertime. This is their busy season. They do hire out some of that work sometimes to help take the load off, but they're awesome. It's fun, and we're going to talk about what they do.
Yeah, so the busy season for them is right now because it's irrigation season. So what they do is that they have to measure that discharge within the various canals, and then they go back to the office, they double check their math or do the calculations, and then they have reports that they send out to contracts. So like Amos at the irrigation district, like they'll send that data to him.
Yeah.
So not only do they do checking of canals during the irrigation season, but they have all of their other work, that they need to do yearly on top of it.
Right.
So this is like
just an added,
added bonus.
Yeah. Bonus work. How fun. But fun fact, did you know that canals only run during the irrigation season? That is so weird. What? It's almost like you wouldn't need water in the non-irrigation season. So
What?
That's so weird. So if you see some empty canals, the water's not there. The water's in the river.
It's in the river, in the ground,
In the ground.
or in the sky. We did talk about the water cycle. So.
Precipitation. Hey, we
Anywhere.
haven't. We might release that episode next month because we have a lot of outreach events coming up. So FYI, water cycle episode. Woo woo.
Snake pig.
But yeah, so that is something that I was not aware of, but Pat so kindly let us know that today. It was a really interesting fact. So, and June through September, they do pump checks in rivers and creeks, and kind of on a yearly basis, they do stream gauges every 4 weeks. So every season, all year, 4-week rotation, they do their stops there to measure the discharge of canals.
Yeah, and they even
Rivers. Sorry, I just remembered, I'm like, canals don't work in the winter time, so.
Well, speaking of winter, they actually take those measurements in the winter time, and we were talking to Pat about like what if there was ice. Sometimes they just have to leave and come back. That's not safe for them, but sometimes they'll drill holes in the ice, and that's how they can take their discharge measurements on the ice. So I don't know. That was pretty cool to think about. The weather does not stop us.
They do maintenance throughout the year, so just typical stuff like keeping grass short for different hazards that they could run into. They paint some of the structures and railings on bridges to kind of indicate where they do their measurements. Typical equipment maintenance, and in the winter sometimes they chop shore ice to prevent backwater and make sure the chopped ice won't create ice jams, stuff like that.
Yeah, they also have to do some water administration tasks. So because of the first and right here in Nebraska with water, there are junior water rights. And so in times of water shortage or like drought, if somebody has a junior water right that is maybe upstream from somebody that has a senior water right, that junior water right has to be told that they can't have water. They need to slow down on their water, and so that's what our field guys do is they'll go tell somebody, hey, you can't use your water. Sorry.
Stop. They show up to your house. Stop. No, I'm just kidding. They don't do that. They're really nice. And Pat also told us that they kind of conduct a lot of that water administration on their own sometimes. A lot of the people that have been there for years and years kind of know the situation. So if there is a drought, the more senior water right people will, irrigate their land. And when they're done irrigating for the season, sometimes they can pass that ball per se to the more junior water right and say, hey, have a go at it, I'm done. Yeah, that was really cool. And they also conduct dam inspections in the early spring and late fall. So typically they're more busy in the springtime, early springtime. That's when they conduct a lot of their dam inspections. And in the summertime, they're super busy. They don't have a lot of time because they're doing a lot of water administration for irrigation season. And then in the late fall, they pick back up because they have some more free time once irrigation slows down. So pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. And then they also look at beneficial water use rights. So to make sure that you are using the water if you say they're using it. Basically just trying to perfect the water right. So to make sure that you irrigate the total number of acres on the land that you said that you would have within your allocation term. So like 3 years is what they're
typically up to. Yeah. So, and if they have a water right that they're not using, they could get canceled. If they have a water right that they're partially using, they'll get partially canceled. And fun fact, water rights don't expire. They go on forever so long as you perfect your water right. So it's not something that you have to really worry about unless you're not irrigating the full total amount of acres that you have been allotted. So yeah, they do a lot. They are, I mean, for somebody who's worked here for almost 2 years now, I had no idea what water administration did. I know that it had something to do with like inspections and making sure people were using their water, but like I didn't know the extent of what they did. And honestly, it's a lot of hard work. I cannot, like, with how pooped we were at the end of the day, I don't
They probably
know.
thought we were babies. We were like so tired and they were like so energetic, like so enthused to like keep going and like show us stuff.
It was nuts. I was like, at the end of the day, like, I mean, it probably was my allergies or whatever, just also taking a toll, but it was like maybe 2 o'clock, day 2, and we pulled up at a gas station because we were like almost on E. That's how much we were driving around, and I was like, okay, I think we're done today. We'll be back, I promise. And Jeremy got out of his car and he was, or his truck, and he was pumping gas, and he was like, are you sure? Like, we can go somewhere else? Like, there's just, like, I can show you whatever you want, just let us know. And I was like, I am so tired. Like, you
You're
guys,
like, I can't breathe.
I literally can't breathe, and I'm so exhausted. I don't know how they do it all the like, they're, like, doing field work, like, almost every other day, like, if not every day, like, during irrigation season. Like, it's nuts. I could not do that. I am a baby. I am a certified baby. Thank you guys for doing all of the work that
Yes,
you do.
they
It's awesome.
do a ton of important work and it's very versatile. Like they have to be knowledgeable in dams, canals, streams, water rights, like water law, water administration.
It's nuts.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Ord Field Office.
Yeah, shout out to all the field offices. Like, I have yet to be to all of them, but I'm sure they all work super hard every single day, especially during irrigation season or the summertime, because it is so hot outside, and they're wearing jeans and boots sometimes, and I honestly could not do that every day. I would die. You would find me at the bottom of a...
I would burn.
Burn. I
I would
know.
burst into flames. My
I would-
skin would just be like, nope.
Yeah, and then I don't know. I feel like I'd be tempted to jump into the stream or the canal.
Well, this is how I go.
This is how I cool off. But yeah, I don't know. It was a really good time. We have plans actually to go up to the Niobrara with the Ord Field Office guys, with Stacy and Jeremy, and
We're super excited to see how maybe that geography is going to be different and poses more variability in like the challenges that they face. I'm super, super pumped about it.
when we were talking to Jeremy earlier this morning about our trip up there, he was like rattling off like just so much different things that we can do up there that I like had no idea. Apparently there's like a stargazing observatory. There's of course the waterfall, Smith Falls. We're gonna be definitely going up there, and they said that they could give us some drone footage of the falls.
So be looking for that when we go up. We're for sure going to post it.
Well, that, and it's gonna be probably posted and updated on our website. So
What?
we are responsible. No, then Lori's gonna do that. We're just there when they do it.
So we're really excited to get to meet up with everybody again. They were just so nice and so friendly and expand our knowledge in a different area within Nebraska.
Yeah. Again, huge shout out to Stacy and Jeremy. You guys are awesome.
Yeah, Stacy, Jeremy, Pat, Tom, Amos, Bob came out there, and then other Jeremy came out there.
I guess we can thank
There's
Bob
more
for
than
hanging
one.
out with us.
Yeah, there's more than one Jeremy.
It was awesome. Thank you guys so much for listening.
Yeah, I think break time's over.
Break time's over.